welcome to this very special episode of the Think and Get It podcast, which is also going to be on my YouTube channel, which is also going to be on social media, which is also going to be basically everywhere. And the reason I'm doing this special series is because this week I am actually opening up the doors to my JFDI Academy for a summer freaking special. The reason being is that, guys, if you didn't get the memo, it is very almost July, which means that the first half of 2023 is officially going to be done, and we're going to be making our way down to Christmas. No, let's not go overexcited. Let's enjoy summer before Christmas comes. And I wanted to come on really and do a very special series for everybody to really make sure that we're really ramping up the energy and making sure that the second half of the year is just as epic. The truth is, guys, that we can set a lot of incredible goals in, the beginning of the year. January has an energy around it, and it's like everyone's gung-ho, ready to make the changes they want, ready to manifest what they want, ready to transform their mindset, ready to transform their body. And then it gets to June and it's like, I'll just do this next year. And guys, it's my absolute commitment that you guys don't just wait till next year and go down this downward spiral. Well, every year is just the same and every month is just the same. And I want to really just instill that positivity, excitement and inspiration and a bit of motivation to get you freaking moving to that which you want. And I really want you just to cast your mind back to January and think about the things that you wanted to create. Think about the goals that you wanted to manifest and really start to cultivate that same level of excitement if you haven't yet got there. And so over this mini series that you're going to see on my YouTube and on my podcast and on my social media, it's all around the very first step of the VIA manifesting method. So what is the VIA manifesting method, you may ask? Well, the VIA manifesting method is my signature method that I use for helping people transform their lives. So the word manifesting is in it, and really in short, I use the word manifesting essentially to illustrate how one can take a desire and help manifest it into real life. This isn't woo-woo, this isn't magic. This is the actual art of transforming your thoughts into reality using 5 steps that I love to teach everybody. And those 5 steps are built upon 3 pillars that after a decade of self-development, a decade of almost a decade of being a coach. It's next year, I would have qualified as a coach. It would have been my 10th year qualified as a coach next year in 2024. And over the decade of me transforming my own life and also working with thousands, if not tens of thousands of people across the globe to transform their lives, I've come to see there are 3 important fundamental steps. And if everyone can understand these 3 steps and everyone can implement these 3 steps in order, so much can shift in people's lives. And so today we're really going to talk about the very first step and the first pillar. And this really forms the basis of everything that I teach in my JFDI Academy, which is my signature membership for people who are serious about really fucking changing their life. The results, the testimonials, the success stories come in abundance, and not just from my courses, but from my books. And I really wanted the JFDI Academy to be the culmination of a decade's worth of everything that I've learned, simplified into this 50 weeks. So you've got, the way that I like to see it is that you have 1 year. If you had 1 year to transform your life, let this be the next 12 months. Let the next 12 months be the next 12 months that changes everything, that changes the trajectory of your life. And the reality is you don't even need to complete all 12 months. I have people come in, they do one section and they're like off and their lives are changed. But how I basically have done the JFDI Academy is, the first 12 modules or whatever it is, I don't even know the number, but the first section, which is learn, is about teaching the fundamentals of the VIA manifesting method. And then the next section is all around really mastering and embodying and implementing the next sections. And so you're building up upon everything that you learn, understanding all the mistakes people make, understanding how to rectify things. So I'm so proud of this because there really isn't as comprehensive a course in personal development and manifestation at a incredibly low price. And you guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this special offer that's going to be happening this week for you guys. But before I do, let me just, for those of you that maybe are new in my world, for those of you that don't even know anything about the VIA manifesting method, let's start off with breaking down the word VIA. So over this mini series, I'm going to talk about there's like 3 sort of steps to the vision piece that we're going to talk about. So VIA, V is for vision. Yeah, I just told you that, so I kind of spoiled my own introduction there. But V is for vision. And a lot of people will go straight to step 3 without actually doing this step correctly. And vision, as it says, is what is the vision for your life? I'm not talking about goals. I'm not talking about, what are the steps to get X, Y, Z. I'm talking about your big, fat fucking vision for your life, okay? Step number 2 is identity, or pillar number 2 is identity, okay? So in order for our vision to come to fruition, in order for our vision to be able to manifest, we need to have an identity that is in alignment with our vision. And this is where understanding conscious mind, subconscious mind, understanding about your childhood conditioning, understanding how you've become the person you are today, so you can change who you're going to be next year, next week, next month, whatever, is fucking crucial. Most people miss this piece out because, when it comes to about manifestation, all the fun stuff, like I'll create a beautiful vision board, all that fun stuff is fun, but actually there's no meat to that, because when we're creating vision, we're using only one part of our mind, which we're going to talk about. That. So the third pillar, when I really thought about if I could simplify this, someone said to me, if you could tell someone the 3 things they need to focus on to change their life, what would they be? I would say vision. I would say identity. And the third thing I would absolutely freaking say, A, is of course action. And via means like road or route, like when we're going somewhere via something. And I was like, the way that we get to the life that we want is via these 3 steps: vision, identity, and action. And so this is the fundamental core piece of everything that I teach inside of the JFTI Academy. But I kind of break it down even more simplified. And that breaks down into really like the 5 steps that we can really break them down. So the first step is get really clear in your vision. And step number 2 and 3 is all around the identity piece, which is first and foremost, really understand and belief hack is what I call it. Understand the beliefs that have got you here today. Understand what has really sunk into subconscious mind. Step number 3 is subconscious rescripting. So those 2 pieces form all around the piece around identity. And then step number 4 is tuning into Universe FM, which is a way of life. And that falls really under action, because that's how we show up as a vibrational master of our life. And the 5th step is take into action, which is intuitive led action. So each of those 5 steps is what I teach, which makes part of those 3 pillars that I really talk about in depth. So what we're going to do is, over this mini series, we're going to really talk about vision and why it's important, what people do wrong, and my 3 power steps to making sure that we're doing this piece right. And so we're going to start off with that. And then hopefully you're going to be able to see how maybe you've been doing things wrong and how we can really tweak this to make sure that we're doing things right. Okie dokie, let's dive into vision. Oh my gosh, vision. Okay, so what is a vision compared to, say, goals? So I want you to imagine one of them big Australian like hats, you know what I mean? Where there's lots of like dangly bits underneath it. Well, vision is like the big hat, and the dangly bits are like the goals. Like you need the goals in order to make the vision come to reality. So goals are the steps, but most people focus on like, oh, what's your goal? Well, before you even know or start to decide like, what's your goal? What are the milestones? What are the steps? Like SMART goals, smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time, whatever. Like before any of that is even a thought process, I want you to really think about like, what is the vision for your life? What is the big ass, like ideal life that you want to live, right? And most people don't start with that. It's like they go into the restaurant and they're like, okay, I've got a fork and I've got a knife and I've got a spoon and I need this fork to do this, and but they're not actually, they don't even know what meal they're ordering. They have no idea what meal they're ordering. They've got, they know what they need to do to eat the meal, but they don't really know what the meal is. They don't really know what they fucking want in their life. And most of us go through life thinking, we can't have it all. We go through life thinking, well, I can maybe have money, but I can't really have the body, or I may have the relationship, but I might not be able to have, the career. And that's because actually, if you look at a lot of particularly successful women in films or in media, there's always like a dark side. There's always like a shadow side to being successful. There's not like a woman that really is a role model who's got a loving relationship and making the money and has a really healthy lifestyle and feels really strong in her body, and also maybe has children and is successful in her own right financially. And because of this, actually, we don't have a lot of female role models. And so what happens subconsciously for a lot of women is we don't believe we can have it all. And because we don't believe we can have it all, we believe there's sacrifice to be made when creating our vision for our life. And I really want to sit here and call bullshit on that. And please understand, I'm not saying that you have to have it all. I'm not saying that to be successful, you need to be this, and this, and this. There's lots of women on this planet that have no desire to be a mother. That doesn't make you less successful or more successful. It just makes you different and unique. Each and single one of us has a unique blueprint. Just because one person desires to be a millionaire and someone just doesn't desire that at all, doesn't mean one person is better than the other. It just means that every single one of us is blueprinted in a different way with a vision for our life that is unique to us. And the vehicle of how we create that vision is also going to be unique to us. And so I really want everyone just to start off this whole process of creating your dream life and realizing that your unique dream life will be your unique dream life, and it could look completely fucking different to somebody else. Like someone's dream life may be yachts, private jets, luxury clothes and hotels. And someone's dream life is living in a camper van, travel around the country with one bag of clothes. Someone else could be really want a minimal lifestyle. Someone else could just really love, living on a farm. The point is that trying to compare your vision to someone else's vision is completely fucking useless and pointless. But what happens as humans is we're so indoctrinated to look at what everyone else is doing as a marker of what we want, that we often massively forget what it is that we really, really want, okay? And so step one of transforming our life, step one of manifesting what we want, step one of stepping into that next level version of ourselves is really being honest about what you really want in life. What is going to give your life meaning? What is going to give your life fulfillment? What do you feel would make you feel successful? Bearing in mind that success is a word that is completely, dependent on what matters to you. We live in a world where success is determined by the money that you earn, the car that you drive, maybe the school that you send your children to. It's determined by all these external things. And actually, success for me is very much an internal game. I know I'm successful when I know I feel happy. I know I'm successful when I can wake up in the morning and I haven't got a boss to tell me what to do. But for someone else, that would be their worst nightmare. They really find successes in their job. And so really dialing down on creating this vision for your life is really, really, really the first step. So one of the things that we can do is create a vision board. And I've actually also, as part of this mini series, you're going to get a little exercise with each of the days that's going to help you really take what we're talking about and put it into reality. And so there's a couple of things, there's a few questions I'm going to give you that's going to help you just really zone in on what would my dream life look like? What would I be doing if I had no fear? What would I be doing if time and money wasn't an object? This will help you just to start being really honest about what you want to create. And listen, will that little internal voice come up but this isn't reality, this isn't going to work? Yes, that's all about piece number 2, identity. And that's a whole nother section. But right now, I want you to park that little voice. I want you to just quieten that down so you can partake in this exercise and be able just to really start the motion of creating this. So one of the really important pieces around vision is, number 1, being really honest with yourself. Do you know how many people are actually lying not to other people, but to themselves, and therefore inadvertently lying to other people. So many people. I work with clients who say like, I don't want to tell my husband I want this because he's not going to like it. So that person is lying not only to themselves, but lying to the person they're spending their life with. And why do we do this? Why aren't we honest about what we want? Well, the reason we aren't honest about what we want is because it's scary. It is scary to think, okay, I want to admit that this is what I want, but what if I can't get it? And so as a defense mechanism, because as humans, we hate being disappointed. As humans, we don't like the feeling of feeling like humiliated or shamed. We would rather keep ourselves small than be honest about what we want, because actually that feels more comfortable. It is way more comfortable to be like, I'll lie about what I want. I'll continue with my life as it is. I'll keep myself small because you know what? If I actually try to go for what I want and I don't get what I want, then, Mr. Jones who lives down the road will tell everyone at the church and I will be freaking humiliated. And what happens is your mind will remember a time as a child when perhaps you disappointed someone or you felt shame or embarrassment, and it will be like, we don't want to go down that route again. So we keep ourselves small. We keep our dreams hidden away in a fucking box on a shelf. And then we get to the end of our life and we go, shit, if only I'd had the courage to not care what other people think. And this is a big part of our work, by the way, around identity, because our subconscious mind is wired for safety and survival. And so if we try to do anything that goes against that, our subconscious mind will pull up a red flag and will shut us down. That's how we self-sabotage. So we have the I and we have the self. We're the only species on this planet that almost sees ourselves in two parts, the I and the self. And so when we self-sabotage the self, which is the part of us that has been, grown and cultivated in this human existence, the non-spiritual part of us, the ego part of us, will begin to sabotage. And not because it wants to destroy our life, but because it believes it is keeping us safe from judgment, keeping us safe from doing something that could potentially affect our lives. So before you even think about what you're going to do for the rest of the 6 months, it's really important that you are honest about what you want to do for the rest of your life. So I really want you to do this task, and I'm going to be back in your inbox tomorrow with how we're going to add to this, how we're going to build up upon this. And I'm going to share with you the 3 steps to really making sure that your vision actually is done right in order for it to manifest. Like the things that I'm like, if you don't do these 3 things, you're going to really struggle to manifest what you want. So let's start off with this, and I'll see you back in the next video.